So today I am going to finish the hammer that Ethan Harty and I forged many months ago back in December. And if you want to see that part of the process, you'll have to go over to his channel and where the full video of the forging will be. My part today is just to heat treat the hammer, touch mark it first. I have to put my mark on it next to his. And then we're going to make a handle for it. We're going to try to make a really nice handle. So the hammer head has had time to cool. We're going to get our fire going again, and I'm going to do a little bit of grinding on this before I heat treat. And for grinding, you're going to see really the only power tool I use in my shop. It's nothing fancy. Just trying to revive this fire a bit after sitting for a while. Get it ready. So I don't have a real grinder yet. I have plans to build one. So I'm just using this cheap belt sander to get me by until I have something better. It's pretty slow, but I don't do a lot of grinding. Alright, we're going to switch to a finer grit. Let's see. I think I'm going to go finer yet. What is this? This is a 120, a worn 120 belt. Alright, so we've got the basic grinding done. This face is almost flat with about an 1/8 inch radius on the edges. This again is the peen is almost flat with a slight radius and the edge is broken. And I'm going to take, not this, I'm going to take a Scotch-Brite style belt, which is a polishing belt, and polish this. I'm doing this before hardening because it'll be a little easier. A little bit less wear on the belts maybe. I'm not entirely happy with that. I work in a crosshatch pattern when going through grits, getting successively finer. If you work in a crosshatch pattern, do one grit on one axis and then do the next grit on the other axis, then you'll be able to tell better when all of the scratches from the coarser grit are gone. In this case, I don't think I took it quite far enough before the polishing pass. I've got some deeper scratches that aren't coming out easy. So I'm going to put this 220 belt on and try and take them out with that. All right. So, me personally, I don't like a mirror finish on my hammer face. I want it decent enough that the scratches are small enough that they won't transfer to the work. But if it's just polished, and a lot of guys like that, but if it's just polished super bright, it's actually slippery on the surface that you're forging, and it will it'll lose that bright polish really quick from scale while you're forging. So now we are ready for the final heat treatment. So this is 1045 steel. It's not a super high carbon steel. So I want a good bright red to light orange color. I'm waiting for the hammer faces to turn the proper color. There, that one's starting to turn a very light straw. When that gets to a dark straw, I'm going to quench it off. All right, we're going to go with that. All right, now for the moment of truth. So we're going to test this with a file, a fine file, so as not to mess up our polish too much. And really, I'm not happy with the hardness. It's not quite as hard as I would like it to be. So we're going to try again. Let's check the other end just for grins. Yeah, it's still pretty soft. Try this again. Technically, you should go through the normalization process again. If you have a failed heat treat, heat it up to critical temperature, let it air cool. 3 times is best. I think one of my problems was that the quench was not fast enough or vigorous enough for this 1045 steel. So I'm going to heat both ends of the hammer and quench the whole thing fast and vigorously. So I'm flipping the hammer over and over in the fire to heat both ends. All right, now let's check. We haven't tempered it. We've quenched it. Now we're going to find out if it actually hardened. And it did. That's perfect. Exactly what I want. Yep. All right. Now this thing is hardened on both faces, both ends, and we are ready for tempering. So I've got a hammer drift hot in the fire, and I'm going to insert the hot drift in the hole and let the heat move towards each end, and I'll be able to see the colors run. And when the faces turn the color I want, in this case a dark straw, then we will stop the process by quenching it off in water. So this is a slow process. It's just kind of a waiting game more than anything. And I'm just hoping there'll be enough heat in that drift to get the job done. But if there's not, I'll heat the drift up again and go back at it. All right, we're going to get it off of this hot drift. Only took 3 heats of the drift. That's okay. Good things come to those who wait. We're going to let that. We've got it down below the temperature where it's not going to hurt the tempering to leave it a little bit warm. And while it's warm, I'm going to rub some wax on it. I like to apply my wax hot so that it will soak into the surface of the metal better, or at least I feel like it does, and so that it'll drive off any water that's in the surface of the metal before the wax goes on. All right, we are ready to make a handle. So the first step is I need to clean the eye up a little bit with a file and radius this inside corner right here. This is the piece of wood we're going to make our handle out of. It's a piece of hickory sledgehammer handle. It's oversized to what we need, so we will just carve it down to where it needs to be. Take off everything that doesn't look like a handle. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fit the eye. So I'm going to start with the side that's going to go down, which will be this side. I'm going to set these calipers to roughly the size of the length of the eye, and this set to the width. Probably unnecessary to use the calipers, but I want to anyway. So the main thing with this is I just want to make sure that I take the wood off evenly. Take the same amount off of each side. So I will drive the handle on a few times and watch for where the wood is tight in the eye and shave that away until I get the fit that I want. And I want a really tight fit. It's pretty close now. Alright, so now we're going to fit it to the head one more time. And I've made a mark on the end of the handle so that I will be able to keep track of which way goes toward the face of the hammer. So after I set the handle in, I'll just hit on the end like this, and because the hammer head is heavier than the handle will just tighten up. And I can tell when it's tight because the sound changes. That's gonna be good. I like the way it sets on the handle. Nothing's cattywampus. Nice. So I want that slot to go about the depth of 2/3 of the hammer eye. And no more. And I'm going to take a triangular file and do like that, and that will make it to where when the hammer eye squeezes the saw cut shut, I'll still be able to get my wedge started. So while I've got the head off, I'm going to start doing some of my shaping right up here close to the head where it'll be hard to get the draw knife once the head is on. I'm doing a little bit different hammer handle shape than is common nowadays. I'm trying to copy a common 18th century pattern that I see in old books. I think it's going to turn out sweet. Should have put this on first. There it is, finished hammer, finished handle. It's ready to hit some metal. One thing I will do before shipping it off is I'll soak the head in oil overnight, in linseed oil, and that'll just soak into the wood. It swells the wood tighter in the eye, and it prevents any moisture from soaking into the wood later. So it's just a good idea all around. Sweet.